Now, there's not much you can get in the world of tech for $250. You'd probably get a quarter of an iPhone, you get about half a GoPro, a third of an iPad Pro, you'll almost get a Nintendo Switch, or you'd get about half a DJI Spark. Or you could get a Xiaomi Redmi Note 8 Pro, which gives you a full HD plus 6.5-inch display, 64 megapixel quad camera setup with 4500 milliamp hour battery and amazing gaming performance. Hey guys, my name is Sid. Welcome to another tech vlog, and today I want to talk to you guys about this phone, which is the Xiaomi Redmi Note 8 Pro. And what is the most amazing thing about this phone is it only costs $250. Let's first talk about the screen, because this is where a lot of budget phones usually compromise. So this phone has a 6.5-inch Full HD display. It is LCD, it's not OLED, so the black levels aren't quite as deep, but you get Full HD. So that means the screen resolution is over 1080p, which is super crisp. It's got great viewing angles, and the colors are quite accurate, if not a little bit saturated, but you can adjust all that in the settings. The screen adapts to your surroundings. So it'll be more yellowish towards the night and more bluish during the day. It gives it a much more pleasant look. It's also got 500 nits of brightness, which is quite good enough in most situations. I didn't really have trouble seeing the screen outside. The brightness settings on this phone are a little aggressive, so it'll try to keep the brightness of the screen as low as possible to maintain battery life, but you can change the settings over there, and once you get your brightness settings right, it's great. So this phone has a Helio G90T processor. It's also got 6 GB of RAM in it, which gives it similar performance to a Snapdragon 645, I would say. But in terms of gaming performance, it's much closer to a flagship from Samsung or Huawei. And you'll be amazed by the gaming performance on this phone. I was blown away. It's also got liquid cooling technology in it, which improves performance for gaming. So I tried a bunch of games on this thing. Man, I was impressed. I tried both PUBG and Call of Duty on ultra settings, and they were playing at over 60 frames a second, I think. At least to my eye, it looked like it was over 60 frames a second. So super smooth, never had a hiccup. I was extremely impressed with the performance, especially the gaming performance of this phone.
Guys, I'm actually enjoying playing this too much.
In other situations as well, when you're switching between apps, multitasking, looking at websites, scrolling through things, it has amazing performance. I was checking out a jar car on this phone. It loads up super fast, scrolling is super fast. In fact, I think it's even a little quicker than my iPhone 11 Pro. I think it's because of some of the animations, but very, very impressive. Even the way that the OS is set up with the animations and stuff, it makes everything feel super snappy. Now, if you are planning to have extended gaming sessions on this phone, you have this 4500 milliamp battery that's going to last you all day. I still haven't exhausted it with a full day of use. I usually end the day with 40 to 30% of battery left with heavy 3D gaming. So it definitely has great battery performance. It also supports quick charging, so in case you do run low, you can top it up really quickly with the 18-watt adapter and USB-C cable that comes in the box. So Xiaomi says fully charge this phone from 0 to 100 in 2 hours with quick charging. Now, in terms of design, I quite enjoyed the design of this phone as well. So they have Gorilla Glass 5 on the front and the back of this phone, which should make it pretty strong. It's also curved slightly at the back, so it makes it easy to hold. Phone that I got, it has this funky color forest green. I think it looks really cool, but you can also get this phone in white or gray. I personally quite like the forest green. It looks really nice. In the front of the display, you'll see you have the teardrop notch, which I quite like. I prefer the teardrop notch over any other kind of notch. Borders on the side of the phone are almost equal on every side, except for the bottom where it's slightly thick. It's not very noticeable at all. And overall, the phone has a 91.4 screen to body ratio, which means that most of the front of the phone is actually the screen. At the bottom of the phone, you see a USB-C port as well as a headphone jack. Yes, this phone has a headphone jack. And at the side of that, you'll see the speaker grill. This is the only speaker on this phone, so it sounds pretty decent. It's not bad, slightly tinny, and it's a bit easy to cover up when you're holding the phone in landscape mode. Definitely serviceable. You can watch YouTube and stuff on it. Now, the phone comes with Android 9, and Xiaomi skin on this phone is something that I'm quite a fan of, actually. It's very similar to the way that the iPhone works. So the way the apps are laid out and where the notification display is, Overall, I'm quite happy with what they've given us, and in terms of animations and stuff, the phone feels really snappy, so I'm happy with the implementation of Android on this phone. Now, the phone supports multiple authentication methods, so you can use the front-facing camera to do a face unlock. I wouldn't recommend you do it if security is a big concern for you, because you could use a picture to unlock this phone if you keep that Face ID on. But at the back of the phone, you also get a fingerprint sensor. I'm not a big fan of the placement of this fingerprint sensor because it's right below the camera and you tend to hit the camera and smudge it up. Now let's get to one of the biggest features of this phone, which is usually one of the biggest weaknesses of budget phones, and that's the camera. Now, generally, this is where budget cameras tend to skimp. It's usually the display and the cameras. But this phone took a complete opposite approach to that. They're giving you 4 cameras at the back and 1 camera in the front. So they've got a 64 megapixel main camera on there. They've got a telephoto camera and they've got an ultra wide camera. And then they also have a macro lens camera. So you get 4 different options on this camera at the back. And then you got a 20 megapixel front facing camera. And I must say, I am super impressed by the quality of the photographs that you can get from this phone. That 64 megapixel camera might sound like a gimmick, but it gives you quite a lot of flexibility in post-processing where you can zoom into a picture or crop it. It really does give you a lot more detail in the shots. Now, it doesn't really matter so much if you're not planning to edit your photographs too much, so you can save the space and turn that off if you like. The portrait mode works great with people and objects as well. I was taking a picture of a shisha pipe and it was able to get all the edges perfectly. The macro mode as well, it's a really nice feature to have. I don't know how often you would use it because you need to be really close to the subject to really take full advantage of macro. Here is a comparison between the macro shot I was able to take on the Redmi Note 8 Pro versus me trying to take the same shot on the iPhone 11. The iPhone just can't focus at that distance. So of course the Redmi Note does much better in that situation. But overall, of course, you can't compare the camera on this to the iPhone 11 Pro. The iPhone 11 is in a different league, but it is very, very close. You're going to be happy with the quality of the images coming out from the Xiaomi Redmi Note 8 Pro. The camera is a big plus. The video is so-so. And here's a video test of the front-facing camera. It's not super wide, but pretty wide enough. And I think the video quality over here is looking great. But also there's a very difficult lighting situation over here because I'm walking with some stuff above my head. But that should be fixed. Here we go. This is a much more even lighting situation. Looks pretty good. Walking into the sun now on one side. Let's see what the dynamic range looks like. Pretty good. So if you have it on a tripod or if you're standing in one place and not moving around too much, then the quality of the video looks pretty good. But if you're walking around, it tends to shake a little bit, and I wouldn't really recommend using that video while you're walking with this phone. Photographs on this come slightly oversaturated, which you can correct in post if you like. But compared to the iPhone, which comes a little bit more natural, these come slightly oversaturated. But overall, I'm super happy with the quality of the pictures you get out of this thing, especially at this price point where it's a quarter of the price of the iPhone is giving you a lot of the same features. Now, before we end this review, I just want to share a couple of things that this phone lacks, and that is complete waterproofing. It is water resistant but not waterproof like some of the other phones. It doesn't have wireless charging. But that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, every other feature that you could think of in terms of performance, the screen, cameras on this thing, battery life, all amazing. And for this price point, I think it's a no-brainer. I was planning to do a giveaway of this phone when I first got it, but I think I'm gonna keep it, guys. If this video reaches 10,000 views and gets 500 likes, I'll give the phone away to the person who's got the top comment. So make sure you share it with your friends and make sure you get those likes on that comment, and I'll probably give this phone away. Alright guys, if you like this video, hit that like button, leave me a comment, subscribe to watch more videos like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.